and welcome back to another episode of the Willie Morgan Show with Manchester United icon Willie Morgan. We are on the lead up to the festive period. We're speaking now on the 17th of November. First of all, Willie, how are you and what have you been up to in the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, I'm well. Golfing mainly, still golfing. Been out a couple of times for a bit of dinner. My pal Good Zamed and his wife Sandra took us out for some lunch, which was very nice. Although we've been, keeping away from restaurants and things, we're still being very careful. I lost my car keys last Saturday at playing golf. Idiot, right? Big idiot. Come off the course. I go in the golf bag, and I know what I realised what had happened. I went in the golf bag on the 9th, and I couldn't remember where, to get my phone out, to phone Kay. It was actually to ask her to record a race. I had a bet on a horse, and I wanted to record the race. And anyway, when I got back, no keys. Couldn't find my keys at all. And I got the house keys on as well. So anyway, went back, looked and nothing. So eventually got a spare key and brought the car back. And anyway, a pal of mine, it's ironic. And I look out every day, up and down the 9th, because I couldn't remember exactly where I'd taken the phone out. I knew where I phoned from, but not where I took the phone out. And anyway, I went out Saturday, obviously, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and then I'm playing golf on Wednesday again. I thought, well, I'll start from the first. You never know, it might have been anywhere. And I'm trying to retrace where I've hit the ball for the first 9 holes. Nothing. I get back home and phone rings. It's the young Cameron, the young pro at the shop. He said, Willie, someone's found a set of car keys. Honestly, he said, yeah. I said, on the 9th? He said, yeah, you're on the 9th. And partly mine, Tony Ty, he's a great friend. He said, Tony Ty's found them and said, they've got a Jaguar on. I said, yeah, they're mine. Can't be too many car keys bloody lying on the golf course. So that was a bit of luck. That was the start of it. And then we went around the other day. I have a pal of mine, Gerald, and he has a jeweller's shop in Nuts. It's called Gerald, funnily enough. And sadly for Gerald, he's an Aston Villa supporter. I know. And I said, well, you must be delighted you got a new manager. He said, not really. So I said, well, I'll give him a chance, wait and see. We were just nosing around. Don't forget I played in the 60s. So, and Nuts was quite expensive, as you well know. But yeah, it was nice to see him and have a chat. All he did, chat about football, which is great. The Kay was looking for some earrings. That's why we went in, just having a look and a nosy around. So, but other than that, no, it's been fairly quiet. Golf, and more golf tomorrow. So the weather's I know it's been a bit dire up in Scotland there, and obviously great result the other night, Scotland, beating Denmark 2-0 was fabulous. So all good, just waiting for Christmas now, another Christmas. My God, they come very quickly these days, Kevin.
They certainly do. The year flies in, as you say. And in terms of Christmas, thinking back to your playing days, did you enjoy the Boxing Day fixtures, the festive football, or would you rather have had a little break?
We didn't know any different. Obviously, we did it since we were kids. We were 18, got in the first team. You played all over the period. So you never give it another thought. So we didn't celebrate as such. The only time that I did anything, Christmas we didn't do anything, obviously, because of the hectic schedule, was after I always drove back home to Scotland for New Year. And sometimes I wouldn't get there till like 12 o'clock or just after, the New Year had come in. And but I used to come back for New Year's Day, only for the day, and then back down the road again. But obviously we didn't play, never played on New Year's Day. That was Celtic and Rangers New Year's Day, so we could watch that. So no, it never bothered you. You just get into the habit of, you're going to be training, playing, and you just do that. I mean, mainly in those days, just for the kids, got the kids the presents and opened the presents, and that was it. We didn't have big roast dinners or anything. It wasn't like that. So we do now, of course. It's like a travel lodge. The family, which is fabulous. So, yeah, it's a nice time. It's a nice, it puts a smile on most people's faces. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
The last time we spoke, you basically hinted that Christmas had potentially came early with the news that Paul Pogba could be moving on. Fast forward 2 weeks and he's asked Manchester United to make him the highest paid player in the history of English football, and the club are considering doing it.
Well, it must be Stevie Wonder who's in charge of watching him play, because he's garbage. He's absolute garbage. And the sooner he leaves, the better. He's poisonous. And I'm sure it gone right through the whole squad, the way that he goes on, and his agent, he's not going to do this, he's going to move, he's going to get rid. Highest paid player for what? He does nothing. He's a non-player. He's absolutely useless. Get back to France and play over there. You'll be all right there. Speak the language.
And in terms of other things that have been going on at United recently, a 2-0 defeat to Manchester City. Some people saying it was worse than Liverpool in the sense that City completely took their foot off the gas in the second half and probably toyed with United. Is that the sort of defeat that is more painful? The fact that they are being toyed with on the park, especially at home?
Well, it's not more painful. We know the problems. How many times have we, over the last year, 2 years, we know what the problems are. What I don't understand is why Ollie hasn't got rid of all the rubbish that's there. And they are. They're not good enough. And they're still there. And he's still playing them. I don't understand. You've got to credit him with some intelligence. But why? Why is he still playing these people? I can understand if someone said, well, you can't sell them or you can't sell, but don't play them. Why would you play them? That's what I don't understand. I can understand the fact that he may not have the clout to say, I want to get rid of him. We spoke about that the last time. I don't know. I don't know what the situation is. What I do know that he picks the team. And he's still picking Fred, Matic, Pogba, Maguire, Martial. Just go on. It's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking for him. I don't understand. He looks like and he talks like he knows the game. And he was a good player himself, so he must know what he's looking for. I don't understand. It's a crazy situation, but to keep Pogba, make him the highest paid player. Hey, if he can get it, good luck to him. I have nothing against him doing that. If he can get it, good luck to him. But why? He's not going to be any different than he is now. He's a non-event. He sits in no man's land, doing nothing when he is there. But, what will be, will be. It's heartbreaking, Liverpool and City, obviously, the two big games for us. And both of them give us a drubbing at our own place. It's frightening.
Speaking of highly paid players in terms of transfer fees, Harry Maguire has had a lot of stick. He scored for England and put his fingers in his ears to basically say that he was silencing the critics. Roy Keane, in typical Roy Keane fashion, was asked about this and he called Maguire an embarrassment to England and an embarrassment to Manchester United. He said his performances have been a disgrace for months And if he thinks scoring a goal against Albania is answering the critics, then he's got another thing coming. Since then, a few pundits have accused Roy Keane of bullying Harry Maguire and that his comments are unfair. What's your verdict?
You know what I think of Maguire. I told you, I've got a tree in my garden that's quicker than him. I agree everything that Roy Keane says. I've not seen it, by the way. I didn't watch the programme where Roy's talking about it. But if that's what he said, he's absolutely right. He's useless. He's useless. And that Albania, that's one of the best pub teams in the world at the moment, aren't they? Albania? A really good pub team, yeah. Oh no, they're not. They're at the bottom of the pub league. That's where I saw them. At the bottom of the pub league. They're playing against what is it? What have they got there? Postman? I don't know. Dustbin man? I don't know who's in the Albania. It's crazy. Oh, he scored a goal against Albania. Really? Scored a goal against Liverpool or Man City. Didn't do that though, does he? So I don't know. I don't exactly know what Roy said, but whatever he said, I agree with him. Whatever you said, Roy, I agree with you. I agree with you. You know, but it's not his fault. And he's not on his own. He's not on his own. The back four are diabolical. All of them. All of them. I don't, how many, again, keep going back. If you take a double-decker bus to your defence, and they wouldn't touch it. It's so poor. But what does he do? I don't know. I don't know the answer to this. I don't care who they bring in. And I know that they're talking about Brendan Rodgers. Well, I don't want him here. He'd be a nightmare.
Well, he's looking at houses in the Cheshire area, if reports are accurate.
Oh, okay. Oh, Brendan, mine's just for sale. It'll be 50 million quid to you. No. Whatever. You know, all we can do is react. There's nothing else we can do. So whatever happens, happens. And then you just have to do what we're doing now, chat about it, because you can't do anything about it otherwise. So it's, I must watch Roy more often. I believe he's very good. He tells the truth, apparently. Which
he does not hold back at all, and he's not scared to argue with someone who he thinks is maybe covering up the truth as well.
Well, most of them sit in the fence. Obviously, they want their jobs. They sit in the fence. And yeah, you can't blame them. You know, I always thought Graham was good as well. Graham Souness. I always spoke, you know, he didn't try to tell you were watching something that you weren't. To sort come up with these crazy things. Oh, he didn't really, yeah, he did. So, well, it is what it is. It is what it is. And I'll be sad for Ollie to go. But, you know, okay, he's picking the team and he's still picking the worst players, the people that got him the job. Keep saying it. The people that got him the job, he's still playing them. And they'll get rid of him as well, just like everybody else.
As well as Brendan Rodgers, there's been talk that Zinedine Zidane could be an option. Obviously, a very good player. And in his era of football, he's managed at Real Madrid twice. The first spell was very good. The second spell, not so much. He can't speak English. It's obviously he's played in Italy, he's played in Spain, he's played in France. Do you think Zidane could be an option for United, or should they look elsewhere?
Why do you want to bring him in? He got the sack. He got the sack at Real Madrid. He was rubbish. Why do you want to bring him here? It's crazy. Get a young guy. You know, I think what they should do is either go to Liverpool and bring Klopp here, or go to Man City and bring him here. One of the two. You've got to go for a young guy. You know, the problem is, Callum, and I've said it a million times, no manager. They're not managers. They're not even called managers. You know what I think about coaches. They're all the same. Conveyor belt. Just bring another one off, another one off. They all learn the same things. They've all got the same ideas.
the questions. We've got a big mix this week. First question is actually about the boots you wore during your playing career. Marky Farr has asked, did you wear Hummel boots at all during your career?
You know something, that's a good question, Mark. I'm not sure. I know when I started off playing, I think they were called Tom Finney's, and they had a big toe cap, solid toe cap with a strap across, and you couldn't get you had to sit with them in a bath. So they were solid, they were awful. And then, of course, you know, Adidas and Puma. In the main, I wore Puma boots. Belly had his name on a pair of Puma boots, and they're the ones that I wore most of my career. I remember vaguely. I remember Bolly had a pair of white ones, Marty, with 3 stripes on. I think they were Hummel, and but I don't think I did. So sorry, pal, can't help you. But Puma were my favourite boot.
We've got 2 questions about United's defence. One, I think this is tongue in cheek, could be wrong. It's Nigel, who says he's from Bolton. Should Sam Allardyce be the next Manchester United manager, given that the defence is so poor?
Nigel, what a funny question. Do I think Sam should be manager? No. Would I like Sam playing centre half? Yes. So want to get his boots back on, lose a few pounds, he'd be perfect, because Sam and Paul Jones, when I was at Bolton, they were the 2 central defenders, and they were brilliant. Paul was the sweeper. He did all the nice bits, and Sam attacked everything. No, I'd like him to come and play. Manage? Don't think so. But to come and play, yes.
Staying on the defence, Johnny Red, who's a big fan of the show, says, "Hi Willie, I've seen a few people on Twitter mention that Scott McTominay could play at centre-back for United, as I know he does play there for Scotland. What do you think about that? Is that an option?"
Tomorrow. I'll have him there tomorrow, because they've got 1. All we need is another 3. That's what we need. Nigel, another 3 with him. Well, I'd play him there in a minute, because I like the lad. He gets stuck in. You win a ball. He's not frightened, and I like that. He's not Paddy Crermler or Bobby Charlton, but he's a Nobby style. And if he can, I didn't know he plays centre half, but if he does, he'll be in my team tomorrow. He'll be the first person on the team sheet at centre half.
We've got a few questions from our good friend Otterman, and we'll start with something that we could have spoken about earlier in the show. Obviously, Bertie Auld passed away this week, Lisbon Lions. What are your memories of playing against Bertie and of the Lisbon Lions as a team? Did you admire the Lisbon Lions as a team?
I loved them. I didn't admire them. I loved them. What they did was amazing, and I've got to know most of them, very well. I see Bertie, I only met him the once. I played against him several times, and of course he was on the left wing for Birmingham, and I was on the right wing at Burnley, I think, at the time, before I went to Man U. And we'd chat, we stood in the halfway line, saying, "What would you think of him? What do you think of him?" And yeah, he was a great wee guy and a very good player. And then I always remember I was taking Dennis, we were going up to play for Scotland. So Dennis asked me if I'd give him a lift up, Dennis Law. And on our way up, we were a bit early. And he said, "Do you fancy popping in and seeing Bertie? He's got a pub. He's retired and got a pub." So we did. So we went and spent an hour with him and a chat and things. It was great. And the Lisbon Lions, of course. Hey, I'm a Celtic supporter, as you know. And it was fantastic. And I loved Tommy Gemmell. Tommy was a good guy. So, but the whole team, great team. great guys, and a proper manager. Didn't have a coach.
Absolutely. Jock Stein, as you say, was certainly a proper manager. Another question from Otterman, as I say, he's got quite a few. I think we've had this one before, but I'll ask you again. Best footballer at golf, and was Sir Matt good at golf as well?
Best footballer at golf?
Yes.
At Man United, at Burnley, John Angus was the best golfer. He was a right back. And then when I came to Man U, yeah, Matt, and by the way, Matt was a good golfer. Unfortunately, in his latter years, he developed the yips. He didn't like 3-foot putts. So we used to, well, Peter Collins and Danny Curran, they were always our opponents. We had a regular 4-ball. And the old man, they would look, and he would look at me and say, "Is that all right?" And I say, "Yes." And they say, "No, get it putted." And he would just run it in. He wouldn't hit it. He'd just run it in with the putter and say, "Is that all right?" "That's okay." Yeah. And I was playing with him when he got his only ever hole-in-one at the Mere, where I play. And at the 13th at the Mere, he got his only ever hole-in-one. The best golfer was Bill Phelps. If I remember, Bill, I was an 8 handicap at the time. I play off 7 now. Bill was off 1, and Tony Dunn was off 5. They were the two, but everyone played. I mean, Dennis, Paddy, Dave Sadler, Alex Stepney, obviously the gaffer, Shea Brennan. The only one that didn't play was Nobby. Bobby was a good player. But the 2 best players were Bill Phelps, he was the best player, and say Tony Dunn was also very, very good. So, yeah, good days. Yeah, I'm still trying to hit that ball down the middle. Otterman, every day I'm trying to hit it down the middle. So, it's the most frustrating game ever invented. So, but I love it.
We'll give Otterman the last word with his last question. Jimmy Murphy has it's just been announced that he'll be honoured with a statue at Old Trafford, which should be unveiled at some point before the end of the season. How happy are you to hear that Jimmy will be getting a statue, and what are your memories of working with him?
Otterman, I didn't know that, by the way. That's fantastic news. He was a great guy, absolutely brilliant man, and the fact that honour him is not before time. Him and Matt were great pals, the manager and assistant manager, he wasn't a coach or anything. But when I came to Burnley that Friday night, the guy that brought me down, it was Jimmy Murphy that met me at Old Trafford. I mean, obviously it was night time, there's nobody there. So Jimmy Murphy met me, took me out into the director's box and said, "You see that, son?" I said, "Yes, I can see that, Mr. Murphy." He said, "Now get in and get signed." So I said, "Oh, okay." I hadn't met Matt by then. So they took me through into Matt's office and, I'll sign. And I didn't sign that night, obviously. They had to get the contracts drawn up. And I went back the following day and signed. I think it was well known on the Saturday morning. They were actually playing Chelsea at Old Trafford. And I signed in Saturday morning. And the gaffer said, "Do you want to stay and watch the match?" I said, "Well, I'm actually playing golf. I've got a match at 2:00 at Bacup, where I lived." And he said, "Oh, okay." I said, "Oh, well, we'll see you on Monday." Okay. And Jimmy Murphy then, I mean, he was like Matt. He was like your dad. It was just nice. Everything was nice. He was great to be around. He was a happy guy, and obviously him and Matt together were fantastic. The only sad thing is that for all of us, all the players at that time, was that when Matt retired, that Jimmy decided to do the same, because Jimmy would have taken over and that would have been great. We would have loved that, and it'd be perfect. So, but he wanted to retire, same as Matt, at the same time. So, yeah, great guy, and it is fantastic news.
It's definitely news that, as you say, I think is long overdue, and I'm glad that United have seen the sense to do it. And again, thanks to Otterman, thanks to all the listeners for the many questions. A good mix this week from Sam Allardyce to Jimmy Murphy to Bertie Auld and others. Just before we go, Willie, any final thoughts for the listeners?
Oh, just, everyone, just hope you're all well and safe. And thanks for, listening and watching. I know I talk a lot of rubbish most of the time, but Callum tells me I do. And I look forward to our next visit with you. It would be great. And as always, may your God go with you.